Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to tell you top 10 places to visit in Italy. This famous country is filled with iconic cities, beautiful towns and villages, incredible beaches, and everything else. What about the food? You are aware of this. Italy is the type of place that can provide idyllic beach vacations one year and rural vineyard vacations the next. Italy, to use a millennial term, is a country that does both. Choice is frequently overwhelming. Simply put, these are the best places to visit right now in Italy. Safe travels and a wonderful vacation. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon. Number 1. Rome. Rome is the top destination on the list for the majority of tourists visiting Italy, both for its historical significance as the capital of much of ancient Europe and for its current status as one of the continent's most vibrant cities. The Colosseum, the Forum, the Pantheon, the Appian Way, and the Palatine Hill are remnants of its former splendor, competing for attention with the Vatican's enormous wealth. Take some time to take in the city itself in between visiting important sites like the Sistine Chapel and Michelangelo's Pietà. Enjoy the Borghese Gardens, eat gelato on the Spanish Steps, stroll through Trastevere's winding streets, sip morning cappuccinos in cafes, window shop on the Via Veneto, and toss a coin into the Trevi Fountain to ensure future visits. To see everything, multiple trips are necessary. Number 2. Florence. Florence, the epicenter of the Italian Renaissance, occasionally resembles a massive art gallery. With its massive dome defying gravity, the Duomo, also known as the Cathedral of Santa Maria del Fiore, is a landmark of world architecture. This is one of the finest collections of Renaissance art in the entire world, along with its marble inlaid bell tower by Giotto and the octagonal baptistry with its unmatched bronze doors by Ghiberti. More masterpieces adorn its churches and palaces, and half a dozen art museums are filled to the brim with paintings and sculpture. Visit the Boboli Gardens, the Altrarno's artist studios and workshops, or Santa Croce's leather shops before you consume too much art at the Uffizi Gallery and Pitti Palace. The Ponte Vecchio, another famous bridge over the River Arno, is also one of the most famous sights in the Tuscan capital. The numerous jewelers whose shops are built on the bridge distinguish this bridge. Crossing the Arno will bring you to a palace with beautiful, large gardens, the Boboli Gardens. These gardens are well known for the works of art that can be found there, including the well-known Grotta Grande. Visit famous squares such as Piazza della Signoria, Piazzale Michelangelo, and Piazza della Repubblica. Number 3. Venice. Who wouldn't fall in love with a city where the roads are made of water, the buses are boats, and the gondoliers' lilting songs fill the air? It is a magical city, and the city itself is what draws most visitors. Venice is now regarded as a cultural and architectural treasure. Tourism has been an important part of the city's economy since the late 18th century. The city's physical expansion has been limited by its location on a series of small islands in the marshy Venetian lagoon, and its narrow streets and canals prohibit the use of automobiles. By the end of the 20th century, Venice's carefully preserved monuments and fine buildings drew 14 million visitors per year. Venice and its lagoon were designated World Heritage Sites in 1987. The broad Piazza San Marco, also known as St. Mark's Square, serves as the city's center and is surrounded by many of its top tourist destinations. The tall campanile towers over both the enormous Basilica of St. Mark and the Doge's Palace, which are both in Venice. One of the most romantic activities in Italy is a gondola ride. At the Grand Canal's end of the plaza, gondolas assemble. Number 4. Tuscan Hill Towns. Stone towns in Tuscany that have Etruscan roots crown the region's undulating terrain. They are all perched atop hills, and many still have the castles and towers that once provided protection for their dominant locations. Given that each has distinctive architecture, artwork, personalities, and narratives, it is challenging to pick one over the others. San Gimignano, which is surrounded by walls that are still largely intact and is fairly brimming with towers, still resembles how it did during the Middle Ages, when it was a significant stop for pilgrims traveling to Rome. Volterra was an important Etruscan center before the Romans came and still has remains of both civilizations today. The tourist attractions of Arezzo are the legacy of the many artists, architects, and poets who lived there. Number 5. Milan. Milan is sometimes disregarded as a travel destination on its own, despite the fact that its airport serves as a significant entry point for travelers. That's unfortunate because Milan is one of the cities in Italy with the highest concentration of creative and architectural sites, making a visit essential for anybody interested in design, fashion, or shopping. The likes of Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, Verdi, Enrico Caruso, Toscanini, and fashion designer Giorgio Armani have called Milan their home and place of employment. Milan has all of the benefits of a large city, but it is relatively small, making it ideal for a visit because tourists can walk to most of the city's attractions and museums. The Duomo di Milano, an impressive opera house, a striking castle, ancient churches, and a wide range of museums and art galleries are among the city's most beautiful attractions. Those who want to get away from the hustle and bustle of city life can hire a car or take the train to one of northern Italy's most beautiful landscapes, the Italian lakes. Its lush green hills and clear lakes make it an ideal summer destination. Number 6. Lake Como. Since the time of the ancient Romans, who escaped the summer heat of Milan to cool off in villas along its rocky shores, Como, Italy's most picturesque lake, has been a popular summer getaway for the affluent and famous. Later villas adorn its compact cities, especially the lovely Bellagio, which is skillfully positioned at the intersection of the lake's three thin arms. The white summits of the Alps to the north may be seen amongst palm trees and camellias on Como's western shore thanks to a microclimate that keeps it mild even in the dead of winter. Before boarding a ship to tour the lake, don't forget to stop in the southern shore town of Como. If you plan to visit Lake Como for 3-4 days, I recommend staying in a town in the center of the lake, such as Bellagio or Verona, because the boat service will quickly transport you to other popular villages such as Tremezina or Menaggio. Number 7. Amalfi Coast. Naples Bay's southern rim is formed by the steep, precipitous Amalfi Peninsula, which projects sharply into the Mediterranean just south of Naples. There is probably no more picturesque or improbable location for the towns that flow down its rocky slopes. Most of these charming communities have stairways for streets, and the homes there appear to be attached to the cliffs behind them. Everywhere there are blooming flowers, and below the villages are inviting beaches tucked away in emerald-colored coves. The town of Ravello is located high above the coast, where lavish gardens frame some of the best views of the coast. The Amalfi Drive, one of the world's most famous road trips, is also arguably the most beautiful 48 kilometers of coastline in Italy, and is unquestionably high on the list of Italy's top tourist attractions. The road clings high above the Tyrrhenian Sea, carved into cliffs already cut by deep ravines, in a series of breathtaking views and curves bounded by almost vertical mountains rising on one side and long vertical drops on the other. Number 8. Capri and Sorrento. Only 20 kilometers away from Sorrento, the mythical Isle of Capri rises in rugged cliffs from the Tyrrhenian Sea. The Roman emperors Augustus and Tiberius used it as a hideout, and now it draws a continuous stream of visitors who go there on the daily ferries and hydrofoils from Sorrento and Naples. A visit to the Blue Grotto, a sizable flooded grotto where reflected sunlight gives the water the appearance of being lit from within, is one of the top things to do on Capri. The lovely Marina Piccola, a small beach at the base of the cliffs protected by the rugged Faraglioni sea stacks, is located on the opposite side of the island. The lovely village of Sorrento resembles Capri in that it appears to have been built for leisure. Naples with its port, Mount Vesuvius, and Capri are all visible from the vistas, which are framed by houses in bright colors and lemon trees. The town is ideal for exploring on foot, relaxing in a cafe, and taking day trips to places like Capri, the Amalfi Coast, Pompeii, and Herculaneum. Number 9. The Cinque Terre. Prior to the railway's connection between the 5 cities by burrowing under the headlands separating them, which is to the north of La Spezia, which cling to the high, rocky Mediterranean coast, it was nearly impossible to reach by land. The shortest and largest portion of the trail, between Manarola and Rio Maggiore, is known as the Via dell'Amore and will be blocked until sometime in 2022 owing to a landslide. The trail was originally utilized by inhabitants to travel between towns. The Cinque Terre is famous for its natural beauty. People have carefully built terraces on the rugged, steep landscape for centuries to cultivate grapes and olives right up to the cliffs that overlook the Mediterranean Sea. The breathtaking views of harbors far below the wild but welcoming coastline, as well as the medieval fortresses, abundant vines, and vibrant colors, make this a memorable vacation. Number 10. Verona. Verona, made famous by Shakespeare as the romantic setting for the moving story of Romeo and Juliet, is a splendid, ancient corner of the Veneto region, nestled between the Adige and Lake Garda and intimately linked to their waters. The Adige now flows between fortified embankments built after the 1882 flood to contain the devastation caused by the river's water. The medieval and Renaissance structures in Verona include a number of Roman arches, which demonstrate the city's lengthy involvement with the Venetian Empire. The substantial Castel Vecchio, a 14th-century fortress, is perched along the riverbank and guards the Ponte Scalagero, a brick-arched bridge. Verona's strongest claim to tourist popularity is founded entirely on fiction, despite its extensive collection of architectural and artistic treasures. Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet was set in Verona, and over the past century, the city's residents have complied by building residences, a balcony, and even a tomb for the imaginary couple. Thank you for watching the video.